I picked psychology because at the time I wanted to be a psychologist. I thought that's what I wanted to do. But then after like 2.5 years in college, I was like, actually, maybe this isn't what I want to do because I don't want to be in school for 10 years. And then I was like, I want to make money. And so then I just ended up getting a job at a nightclub, making ridiculous money, and also worked at a strip club as the door girl. And I was just making like, at the time, it felt like I was rich, like being like a college kid, and all of a sudden I was making like, I had 2 jobs and I was just like racking in the dough. So I dropped out of college and was like, nah.
So you don't have a degree then?
I do not have a degree.
That's no problem. I'm just asking because I was gonna ask you why you went to school, but if you wanted to be a psychologist, that's why you went to school. So
yeah, and then I realized I didn't, but I had already gone for like 2 years, and I was like, ooh.
Hey. Right. No, we talk about that consistently. The local vocational school in Bremerton is called West Sound Tech. And when I was in high school, and I believe also when Colin was in high school, it was very much billed as like, it's for retards and fuck-ups. Like, you only go there, if you can't handle regular public school, which is not the truth because they had carpentry programs, nursing programs, cosmetology programs, everything.
Yeah, vocational schools need better branding.
Yes.
Like, when I was a kid, I wish I went to fucking vocational school. Yes. Like, I'm an idiot. Like, now I reflect, like, they had such cool programs, but because of how it was painted, it was painted for, like, the fuck-ups and the people that couldn't, that didn't, like, because we all have different ways of learning and different, more hands-on learners, I would say.
Yeah.
Not as good test takers typically, but like then like the way that that's painted when you're in schools, like those people are stupid, those are the dumb people. Right. But like it's not that's not even fucking true. Yeah. And I have regrets of like, because when you're a kid you're impressionable and like you care what other people think, and like you're just like, oh well, that's like things that I have regrets of when I was in high school, because I cared so much what other people think. I feel like I'd be like 10 times better off now if I had just stopped caring so much what people thought then. Like,
right. What do you think helped get you to the point that you don't care what people think? Because that's what right now you think you don't
care.
You still care?
I still care. I'm working on it. It's something that I work on. Less now, yes. I still do have a problem where I care what people think. Well, with the canceling thing, like that really hit me. I was
going to ask if you thought that helped with that, right?
Obviously it did, but because I have an instant reaction to rebel. So like when it happened, I like kind of was like, fuck you, I don't give a fuck what you think, but I did deep down inside, like I was reacting like that, but I actually secretly gave a fuck and was just like, didn't know what else to do other than kind of be like, well, like, you think that's controversial, like, wait to see my other fucking opinions, like, it was just more that was just the fucking, like, that was the surface, bro. Like, let's keep going.
Right.
And so then I just kind of like was poking the bear, I guess, and it wasn't like none of my opinions I consider like controversial, like they're really not controversial.
Us either, but
we haven't gotten to that portion of the podcast yet. Wait till we start bringing up political issue A, political issue B, and then people are going to start hating us. But that's fine.
Well, I mean, I don't feel like I'm pretty moderate. I'm pretty moderate. Like that was the other thing. I said I'm a centrist.
Right.
And they actually said in the email, I have the email, it said that me calling myself a centrist was offensive to marginalized liberals. And I was like, how does that make any sense? Awesome. I was like, how does me being a moderate affect, like, because people now believe, like, on the far left, like, this isn't as much of a thing on the far right, I don't think, but like people on the far left believe that if you're not with us, you're against us.
Yeah.
If you're not as far as us, then you're the enemy. Like,
well, they don't see it as far, but that's
well, they are, yeah, no, because because I usually use the like political compass as my like scope of how I view politics. Like there's like the authoritarian left, authoritarian right, libertarian left, a libertarian right. I'm right on the cusp of libertarian left and right. Like I'm pretty close. I'm pretty fiscally conservative, I'd say. But
the far right thinks the same. Thanks, Dan. Dan Moto.
But yeah, so on the like what I've noticed, because then if you go far left libertarian is what neo-Marxism, and like that would consider like left libertarianism, like which is kind of like, or what is it called? It's like
neoconservatism.
No, there's like Noam Chomsky. He says that he's a libertarian, right? But he's like he's a
Noam Chomsky libertarian.
No,
Jesus.
and that's what he says. He says he is. He calls himself a libertarian. Yeah,
he's also 1,000.
Right,
so.
because neo-Marxism is like what is progressing through with critical race theory, that's neo-Marxism. So
and that's the left, and that would be on the political scale. They usually, when they take the political compass test, they're on the far, like the
far left and pretty authoritarian.
Right.
Well, no, they usually don't land there though because of
because of them lying.
Yeah, well, I force my friends to take those tests, and they usually end up...
You're an authoritarian in your own right. Look at that.
I know. I'm like, you got to take this fucking test because I want to see where you are. I think that they're pretty accurate, at least for me. But the thing is like, so what? Bernie, he usually lands like authoritarian left, but like on the cusp of libertarian left.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. It's like it all just depends on like how you feel about civil liberties.
Yeah.
And government to control. Theoretically, neo-Marxism are supposed to say that they don't believe there should be government control, right? Like real, like that, that's what they say, decentralization.
Yeah, if
like,
every single little community of 150 people could get together and make their own little version of rules and laws, and then you drive 10 minutes down the road and they have their own little community that makes their own rules and laws. That is that version of that utopia, but it's all bullshit.
But I don't think neo-Marxism would still... It's still definitely involved in centralized power. Do you know what I'm talking about?
It is involved in centralized power, but
it's an oxymoron. It's like they say these things, but they don't realize that half of the shit that they say is contrary to like the ideology that they follow.
Yes.
Like it's just like it's fucking just talking bullshit out your mouth. Like they literally just say a bunch of shit. And it's all fucking nonsense. None of it is applicable in the real world, is what it feels like. It's not anything.
Very utopian.
Sure, communism could work on a very small scale. You know, like there
150 people max.
Yeah, like and like that can work. And honestly, I am a proponent of decentralization. I am a proponent of less federal government and having it like be more local based, and then like that I am 100% and then sure, if fucking California wants to be a fucking commie state, let go. Like they're already doing it, right?
I guess my point is I just wouldn't attribute that to Marxism, right? But it is an oxymoron in the way that Marxism, communism, socialism are a political and governmental system that have no means of production. It is inherently only a system of consumption.
Because it consumes the production.
That's all that it is. They don't have a means of production, and that's I hesitate to say this, but from a communist perspective, the beauty that China has found in that they allow free markets to exist so long as you abide by the rules and regulations and standards of the Communist Party. Because if you want a license to operate, then you need to get it from the Communist Party. However, once you have this license, you can do what you want with it. And that's the only way...
Well, not what you want with it. They have a lot of guidelines.
As far as business, I mean. You know what I'm saying? You can have pretty much whatever company you want, so long as it abides by the regulations and rules and standards of the Communist Party.
That is a part of the Communist Party. They usually are pretty...
Exactly.
They make sure that it's overruled by someone. So it's
They based as fuck, but they based in the CCP.
Yeah, like they are using like free market, like economic principles. But and the thing is like with like
up until the government level.
Like, I think that's the thing is that communism's all theory.
Yeah.
It's like all theory. It's all theoretical. They're not actually thinking about how economies work, about how supply chains work.
Supply chains,
because in practice,
any of this shit works. Like in practice, you know, and then that's why typically communist countries fail because there is logistics. There is the fucking logistics that nobody.
Logistics all the way.
Yeah, like you got to think of logistics of how these things operate, and that's why, like, I think it's hilarious when it's like communism just sounds good on paper, but like it's just not applicable.
In practice, it leads to the death of millions of people every time.
Every time.
Literally every time. And everyone's like, no, but this time it won't.
But if we do it right,
better. We're gonna be different. We're gonna be fucking different.
No,
yeah,
we are the exception.
Welcome to the South of the streets, coming at you every week with this food for thought. Hope you ready to eat everything.